Gee, man.
Or would it be a
First,
combination?
oh, yeah. But I was just going to say, don't believe everything you read. I guess I've been around long enough to be called a pioneer. My first performance for pay was 1955, so that'll give you an idea of how well I've been doing this.
Is that your $5 gig, or did I just read something?
I can't describe myself. I just let people
Sort of right.
say and think and, whatever they want about me. But I'm not good enough to copy music. I'm just not that good of an artist. So what I've done is just do things my way and toss the salad the way I can, and it's worked out really well for me. So, but coming from the part of Texas where I was born and raised and still live in Temple, in the era that I did, I was influenced by different genres of music that you can detect in the music that I
Definitely.
record and perform today.
Well, we both grew up listening to your music.
Come on.
We both grew up listening to your music.
All right.
As kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my dad's from Uvalde, Texas.
Get to the I was just there Sunday.
My mom was born and raised in Brackettville, Texas,
Oh, wow, wow.
and she can tell you where her parents are from.
Raymondville.
Uvalde has the oldest opera house in Texas. It was built in 1881, and I just played it Sunday. And it's funny, but then again, it's serious matter because, 130 something years before they had música chicana or
Yeah.
Hispanic music in that theater, But that's the way it's been with me through my whole life. It's like always, happy to be the first at one thing or another. The Houston Rodeo took 57 years before our music was played in the world famous, world largest livestock show and rodeo. That was back in '89. But eventually, the music, the fans, people demanded, and it happens. Change in terms of,
It could be musically, the industry, just the whole atmosphere in general.
well, technology has certainly played a big part in the changes that's taken place. The industry is not, of course, anything like when I started. Today you can be recognized worldwide instantly. Back then, you record a record and you travel from station to radio station to get it played. Today, somebody maybe in New York or Atlanta decides what the playlist is, and they hand it out to whatever radio stations, whatever the format is, and they'll pick the 20, 30 songs that they'll play for the next whatever time. In the old days, you could walk into a radio station and bring your record, and they'd interview you on spot, and they played your music. Of course, that's not the case. And musically, what's changed, of course, is that, and it's unfortunate because of all the cutbacks in schools, the music programs have suffered. That means kids don't get to learn music properly, and there's a lot of talent that goes by the wayside because they're talented, willing, able kids, young children that learning music properly could probably take them a long ways. And I speak that on the fact that I'm not musically trained, but I know the importance of it if you're going to make a career of music. You learn those 12 notes, and they're good in China, they're good in Australia, they're good in Modesto,
Que suspiran con el alma.
lástima porque todavía me quiere.
I've done a lot of videos about a lot of things, and you know, I've just been fortunate that way. Chicano music, I've done some clinics at the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we had students from all over the world, you know, and I played the different rhythms and styles of musics, and we had, you know, kids from Africa, from England, from Texas, from all over, and they found it very interesting because the Chicano musician, in most cases, adapts to all kinds of music. And in my case, that's what I was, you know, displaying to the students, you know, that although the music signature may be a 4/4, but it's the way you deliver, it's the way you play, that makes the genres different, you know. And gracias a Dios, I've had all this time to work and develop that. So it's interesting, but what is sad is that there's not enough information like that recorded or documented where the world could learn from.
Sure.
Well, Pete, my music's called Tejano today, but before that term was even coined, it was for me it's always been Chicano music,
Chicano
Mexican
music.
American
Yes.
music, and 2 languages, you know. But as music and all music's evolved, and each generation brings their own brand of music to the table. They change it, you know, like La Onda, Tex-Mex, Tejano, but unless you can go back and check the history of the music itself, you would consider maybe Emilio Navaira Tejano and Little Joe Tejano, but you will notice that the music, they may be the same songs, but the music's world apart.
Yes.
Because, you know, I like I said, I come from a different era. I was impacted, I was, you know, by the big band. I love jazz. I'm not a
You
jazzer,
definitely
but
have the big band sound.
yeah. So you'll hear jazz overtones and some of the things that I do, you know, but not just jazz, the blues, the country, and the rock and roll, and all of that, you know. While the last 20 years, I guess, when they call la música tejana, it's more accordion based, more conjunto, more norteño. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. You know, I love norteño music, especially when it's good norteño music. But I don't mind. I've been called so many different things, and it's all acceptable. I'm just appreciate, you know, that people recognize my music. They can call it Tejano, Chicano, Tex-Mex, Onda. Just call it.
Well, earlier today I was messaging back and forth with our mutual friend, Dr. Al Carlos Hernandez. I know you said you had different names for him, but he asked me to ask you this, and this is in his own words.
Okay, Al, what are you asking?
He said, ask him about the documentary they're doing on his life. Jesse Jackson, Cheech Marin, lots of chingons on camera giving Joe props.
I knew it. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's up and coming. They're still working on it. It's in progress. But when the project was brought to my attention, and the lady that's producing it, Una McGinnis, it's from my hometown, but we never knew each other. I've been on the road forever and a day, so we met later on. Excuse me. So we've known each other. We go back at least 25 years, and she's been involved with music and entertainment. But she brought the idea to me, and I really wasn't all that, you know, I just wasn't excited about it. because there's been a lot of people that have brought ideas about movies, books, documentaries, and I've always felt that if you don't tell the story the way I think, the way it really happened, you miss out. And I think if you try to glamorize it, you still, that's not what it's about. But there was more around the Tejano genres. But I thought also that we La Raza suffer from lack of documentation, What we know about who we are is told to us from our parents, grandparents, as hand-me-down stories, and, we need a lot of documentation. So I agreed to do it, and then she asked me, well, what do you want me to interview? And I started thinking, well, one, I thought we can make this a positive thing. The documentary is about Little Joe, but it's about the struggle, it's about a cultura, it's about a people, it's about nosotros la raza and our contributions that have gone unnoticed and uncredited forever. When she asked who, I started thinking, well, who do I know? In the last half century I've been on the road. And it turns out that
You know a lot of people.
I'm very, very fortunate. I know people from the White House to the whorehouse, and sometimes it gets a little confusing there. But there's politicians, movie actors, writers, painters, artists, musicians, just all kinds of people that have, that I've been so fortunate to meet through the years. And what amazed me is the kind words they have to say about me that I never stopped to think about. Or, for instance, Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top. We've been friends and acquaintances for many, many years, but I had no idea how big a fan he is of Little Joe, going back to Little Joe and the Latin Airs. When I heard as part of his interview, it's like, how did this guy know so much about me? Like, it's just that, he was interested in my music, liked it, and as friends, but I didn't know that he had kept up with me through the years and, things I've done and the music I've performed. So that's how the documentary is progressing. My dear friend Jesse Jackson will be on it. Willie and many country actors, singers. United Farm Workers, Arturo Rodriguez. It's just some incredible people that, as I say, I've been fortunate to know and have impacted my life for the better, that I've learned from. So that's, Al, you're making me spill the beans, but that's what the documentary is about.
Any idea when that's
like I said, at the present, we're also, this is the first project that's been sanctioned by the state of Texas. It wasn't easy. It was quite difficult to get the state to do this because none of the projects have been worthy, and I'm not talking about the contents, but, they come with held-hand cameras and, but this documentary, it's quality, and that's first thing I insisted. It's like not quantity, but quality. And of course, that's what it will be. So that it's accepted on HBO, PBS, or and I'm honored that the state of Texas would sanction such a project. And in the meantime, we need to match some funds, and some really, really great people are doing meet and greets. And the producers are, at first they were kind of like in a hurry and disappointed when things didn't turn out like they were hoping. I've learned to be patient. It's like, hey, it'll happen when it happens. but it's really a quality project, and we'll all be pleased with it, and it'll serve our community, in a very positive way, because while it's about Little Joe and the music, it's more than that. It's about the struggle. It's about an American dream, and it's about shining light on many achievements through many of the people that are part of the documentary. That it's not for us. We're not preaching to the choir. It's for those that don't know. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people that, of course, don't know or care or haven't been, shown who we are, the way we are, what we've done, our contributions. But that, again, is like a documentation. But for me, it's more importantly for those that don't know Little Joe, that don't speak Spanish, that don't know about the music, that don't know how it has influenced millions of people. But without the documentation, without the documentary, it'll continue to be unnoticed.
Well, Joe, I know you're a busy guy. So on behalf of myself, Mr. Latino Magazine, our loyal readers and subscribers, I'd like to thank you for your time. It's very much appreciated. Lastly, what's next, and what should we be looking for Little Joe La Familia?
More of the same. It's fun. One of the best things that I've gotten from doing what I do through music, with music, is the opportunity to help others. I can't think of doing any one thing that makes me feel more wholesome and, just incredibly good feeling than to be able to help. That's very, very important in my life, because when I needed the help, the people that gave us, me and my family, shouldered us and supported us. It's not just the help itself, but the fact that somebody cares enough. And I think we all should care a lot more about one another and help when and where we can. And our community needs so much help in so many areas, especially in inspiring and directing and getting our kids educated. We need to also get involved in politics. We need a lot of things, but more importantly, besides our health, we need a good education. I work with many different organizations that work around children and that advocate for better education. And I know the importance of it, because I'm a 7th grade dropout, and I know how important a good education is, especially today. But I'm working on a project in San Antonio, West Side. It's called the West Side Development Program. And in San Antonio is becoming, or is already, one of the fastest growing and happening cities. And Mayor Cisneros, there's a lot of Chicanos involved in politics that are bringing the change, making the change happen. West Side happens to be where San Antonio got started, and from there it sprawled. But still, West Side, while that area is the most populated, it's still the poorest. And while all these great things are happening in San Antonio, that population, that segment of people in that area, needs a lot of attention, redevelopment, and there's a project called rehabilitating homes for the urban families, and I always wanted to do something like that, and now the whole city is behind it. It just something that came together. So you'll be hearing more about it, and hopefully it'll serve as a model. It should happen in Modesto. It should happen everywhere, where we have the barrios and we have the need and we have the energy and we have the know-how and we have the people. West Side, I hope, as I said, will be the model that we can show that this can be done anywhere that we desire to make things better for our people. For all people, but especially, ya sabemos la raza, we're like bottom of the totem pole.
Well,
Pete,
thank you for your time. I
gracias.
appreciate it a lot.
And I'm drinking tea. That's a shame.
Bud Light.
I
Can I
didn't
get a
say
couple?
tequila, no.
Con desprecio de tu corazón.
Oh, you coming to the show?
My main thing is I wanted to get this interview.
Have you seen the show before?
No, I've never seen
Well,
it
you
before.
guys need to hang around. Let me see if I can get you a couple of tickets.
Oh, wow.
Let me see who do I ask.
I got that on camera.
Come on.
I got that on camera.
I was kidding.
El mundo estará muy lleno de amores